Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss here with MT. We're going to take some questions that you had from episode 3 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. A crazy episode that jumped all around the world, introduced us to characters we had met before in the MCU, but with completely new characters behind those faces. Whether it was Zemo or Sharon Carter. We also got a little tease of a familiar face from Wakanda. So that's fun. Be sure to watch our Inside Marvel After Show and the Easter egg breakdown if you're watching this on YouTube. Right now we're taking questions from our wonderful listeners on stereo.
Yes.
So here we go. Let's take our first question. You ready,
Let's
MT?
do it.
I think Sharon Carter is the Power Broker. What do you think?
No. But I think she could be connected to the Power Broker. We talked about this a bit in the Inside Marvel After Show. I think she's got a weird story that she needs to tell us. She's weirdly powerful. It's weird that she has this whole art collection now, and that's the world that she lives in when she could just live low profile off the grid. But she, I think she could work for the Power Broker. What do you think, MT?
Yeah, I definitely don't think that Sharon Carter is the Power Broker. It'd be really weird. And I honestly feel like if Sharon Carter was the Power Broker and she had access to these super soldier vials, that she probably would have gave herself some. If there isn't some type of like terrible flaw in it that we don't know about anyway. So it doesn't make sense just given what she did in episode 3 for her to be the Power Broker. But I do understand why there is a growing movement of people that do think that she is the Power Broker, but I just don't think that it really adds up there.
Yeah, if you think like if she is the Power Broker, like the Power Broker, they're implying it's this figure who has graffiti everywhere saying that he's watching people or she's watching people that we don't know what they are, but they it's this surveillance thing. It's like this figure that has been mythologized about for decades. Sharon Carter has only moved to Madripoor in the last few years. While she has risen far in that time, I don't see her. Why would she be doing all this stuff herself, putting herself in danger if she's a criminal lord of this colony? Like, the Power Broker's not someone who's going to put themselves in front of gunfire just to defend Bucky and Sam and Zemo in the shipping yard. Like, I think she could be working for them. Obviously, she is connected to someone because she was like, we have a couple problems I'll tell you about in the car at the end. So I get she's shady. She's shady.
Mega shady. Mega.
I think it's more likely the Power Broker is either some new face, someone we don't know yet, a completely new character, new face, or it could be someone like the Mandarin. I think the Mandarin is kind of this head of the 10 Rings, a criminal network whose spies go all over the world, who are always watching. I think that kind of lines up more than Sharon Carter.
Yeah, and we do have a light connection, and like I'm not saying that this is even a thing, but like with the Extremis Project and the Mandarin, there is some type of connection to the Mandarin-esque figure, and even though it wasn't the real Mandarin, and altering body chemistry and enhancing human beings. So potentially we could have a Mandarin who took Killian's inspiration because Killian took inspiration from him. And he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll become I'll deal with the powers and like I'll focus on taking these this work that Nagel did with the CIA and making profit off of this potentially. So
the 10 Rings has been interested in weapons tech for as long as we've known them. They wanted Tony Stark's tech in the first Iron Man. That's why Raza can
yes.
They wanted Pym tech in Ant-Man in the first Ant-Man movie. They wanted that Yellow Jacket suit. So yeah, it would make sense. But like any criminal mastermind, they're going to be interested in any kind of like super tech that they can weaponize and sell or use.
Yes.
But Sharon Carter has an interesting story. I hope this isn't the last we see of her. I hope this wasn't a one and done character. I would love to go back to Madripoor, or she can come back to the U.S. And tell her story. But for a long time I theorized that she could be a Skrull. I think it'd be weird for the Power Broker. It's possible the Power Broker could be kind of some kind of Skrull lord. It's just like I'm ready to rest Skrulls for now. We just got back-to-back Skrull cameos and titles. If we maybe wait to see more Skrulls until, I don't know, Miss Marvel or something later this year, I'd be okay with it.
Like, I'd honestly be okay with waiting for Skrulls until Secret Invasion drops with Nick Fury and all them. Like it's cool to see them pop up here and there, but like I don't want them to be like, because like this is a very specific part of the Marvel universe. This is more grounded. This is just more. It's less cosmic. So like I know that Secret Invasion is something that does encompass all of. Like I feel like Kevin Feige has some restraint to be like, all right, there's a time and place for Skrulls. There's a time and place for setting up future Marvel movies, and we've already done that with WandaVision. So hopefully we don't see any here. Honestly, but that's just me.
Let's take another question.
Hey, Erik, MT. First, I want to say thank you for the breakdowns of the episodes. And Erik, you ever did the episode 2 breakdown? You had brought up the mutant growth thing. What if John Walker and Battlestar have been taking doses of that given to them by the CIA?
Oh, if
Yes.
So the mutant growth serum that I remember bringing up is in relation to the comic backstory for Patriot for Eli Walker. Now in the comics, mutants show up everywhere because there's not that kind of like division that there have been in the MCU up until this point. I don't think it's going to be the mutant growth serum. I think they've been given some other kind of enhancement. I don't think it'll be specifically the mutant growth serum, just because they need to introduce what mutants are and what they mean to this universe before they bring in things that are called the mutant growth serum.
I definitely don't think the mutant growth serum is going to be a factor quite yet, like you said, because like we have to introduce the concept of mutants, and I think that isn't probably going to happen until the Eternals drops and we get more backstory of the cosmic physiology of human beings and like about the X gene and all that stuff. Yeah. And I do think that Kevin Feige probably wants to do that when on a bigger stage. Like I always say, like theater is the best stage for in the stage that people know the most for Marvel Studios projects. So whenever theaters do open back up again and more eyes are able to see a big Marvel event like a movie, then that's when we're going to get mutants, and that's when we're going to get all the mutant elements. So I definitely don't think MGH is going to be a factor, but I do like that he brought up the CIA connection and John Walker, because like if the CIA was working with super soldier serum, then there is a chance that they have either like an unfinished or not so great version of the formula to potentially give Battlestar and John Walker. So.
Yeah, CIA is an interesting one. I think they just mentioned a government influence. Now, the CIA CIA is part of the intelligence community in the U.S. government. Yeah. They are kind of their own actor, but I think they're under defense, technically, rather than state. So I'm trying to think, Secretary of State Thaddeus Ross, would he have like control over things the CIA does? Kind of, yeah. I think he would have some influence, absolutely. But yeah, I was wondering if it's CIA, he could totally have his hands tied in with whatever that program was. And he didn't say when this was. It could have been before he rose up to become Secretary of State. And there was that period where he said he went missing due to like a heart attack or something like that. Did he really go off the grid to work on some other thing?
I wonder if that CIA stuff had anything to do with Blonsky and what went on with that was more of like the Incredible Hulk and Hulk's research, but it would be interesting to see if there are connections to the CIA's work and the 2008 Incredible Hulk film, but we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like they're tying back a lot to this whole Weapons Plus Project Rebirth kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it went in that direction. But hey, before I continue, losing your hair can be a bummer. Patrick Stewart has been pulling off the bald and handsome look since the late 80s, but we're not all gifted with as beautiful a skull as that guy. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. I know guys in my life that are stressed out about it, but with Keeps, it is easier and more affordable to get treatment for your hair loss and to help you keep the hair that you have. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there, and at half the cost of your local pharmacy. You used to have to go to a doctor's office for this kind of treatment, but with Keeps, you can do it all from home. You meet with the doctor online, and they ship the treatment right to you every 3 months, so you don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. Find out why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and nearly 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. So if you're noticing that you're losing your hair, do something about it. For a limited time, go to keeps.com/newrockstars or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. Let's take another question.
What do you guys think is going to happen after all those people recorded Bucky beating up all those other guys in that bar?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I think he's definitely in violation of the terms of his pardon now. You know, he was a little bit before,
Yeah.
but once that video gets out, I think they're going to say Winter Soldier's back, Winter Soldier's alive again, fear, fear. And I think it's going to put a huge target on his back, and John Walker's going to get basically a license to kill the Winter Soldier. And I think that's what's going to happen. And then I think in that crossfire, I think Zemo's going to kill him. That's my theory, is that Zemo's going to kill John Walker in this show. Spoiler warning, in case I'm ruining it for you. It's just a prediction. I'm not just predicting based off of stuff I've seen and where I think it's going.
I think that this might paint a bigger, it'll definitely put a target on Bucky's back, but like Sam in association with Bucky, and you know, with people trying to, with the government trying to sort of, I feel like there's like all right, we have to paint Sam as like someone who isn't really worthy of the shield anyway. So like, if they have this footage with Sam in the background, I was like, yeah, I'm hanging out with a known criminal, Winter Soldier, and like I approve of his beatdown, then like people are gonna be like, oh, he didn't deserve the shield anyway. Like, it's a good thing we gave it to a nice white bread John Walker man, because this guy hangs out with criminals. So yeah, I'm more interested to see how that affects Sam, because like we obviously know that it's probably going to affect Bucky really badly, but you know, just Sam by association, and you know, how they might use that to paint him as a bad black man, for lack of a better term. It'd be really interesting.
Agreed. Yeah. Let's take another question.
Who do you think killed Selby?
Oh, I think
It's
that
got
was
to be Sharon.
Carter.
It's got to be
She had
Sharon.
the sniper. She was the sharpshooter in the window, and then later on the street, there were guys who were getting gunned down, and then Sharon kind of ducked her head away from the window. I think the implication is that she had some eyes and ears on that conversation, and once she saw that Sam's cover was blown, he is not the smiling tiger, action. But yeah.
Yeah, 100% Sharon.
Let's take another question.
Do you think that Bucky will return to Wakanda and live in peace as the White Wolf?
You have such a good voice.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it.
You have an ASMR quality to your voice. I was kind of lulled to sleep.
Yes.
I was in a state. I almost didn't hear what you even asked.
I feel a lot more calmer, Eric. I feel a lot more at peace on the inside.
Oh my god, my heart rate just went down by like...
I used to have high blood pressure, not anymore.
To answer your perfectly asked question,
right?
Yeah, I hope Bucky returns to Wakanda. It seems to be the only place he's been where he's at any kind of peace since breaking free from Hydra. And yeah, if he retires in Wakanda, I think living on as the White Wolf for them would be a great future for him.
I don't know. Because like now that he's broken Zemo out of jail, I think that this man is sort of just like not very liked in Wakanda at this present time. I'm sure that once he explains himself, then maybe. But I honestly think that his time in Wakanda is done, and that they did what they needed to do for him, and they helped him out. And I think that he really enjoys his time in Wakanda. But I do and this is something that like I thought about as soon as I saw Ayo at the end of the episode. What if Ayo and Bucky have a secret history? And like, this is just assuming that, you know, Bucky does like women. But, you know, if him and Ayo had this relationship, and like, because she does seem like, like I'm not so happy to see you, obviously because of the Zemo thing, but like, I feel like there might be something there. But that's just me. That's just me being a weirdo. But that's But anyway,
I think the Dora Milaje seems pretty well. Okoye has that relationship with Wakabi. I'm trying to think, like, are they strict? Are they celibate? You know, they just only serve their roles and they don't have other relationships or distractions or something like that. But I don't know. There might be something there. Yeah, but we'll have to see. I think there's plenty of storytelling left for Bucky right now. As of right now, I don't know where he's headed. His character started out. I loved seeing this whole idea with the list. Since he decided to break Zemo out of, and now he's going back to, he's reverting to this Winter Soldier stuff. I know he's playing. He goes berserk, just to fulfill a role. I'm having trouble tracking what his whole. I'm having trouble tracking what all these characters' trajectories are. To be honest, like I don't. It's kind of fun just to see them back again and to see them bouncing off each other, but I don't really have a clear sense of what any of them want. Every episode, like their characters keep getting redefined, and I don't know.
It's like it's so weird, having these Marvel shows now and having a narrative be stretched out for so long because, like, there are points where just like, where are we going with this? Like, what is going on with these characters? So yeah, no, but I do understand where you're coming from, and like
the only people I know who what they want are the Flag Smashers, and I think they are so boring. Like, just like great, more freedom fighters who just want to play Robin Hood and read. It's just like, okay, cool. It was interesting when Carly blew up that place.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
Okay, cool. This is great. I'm on board with this.
Yes, I did like to see a more ruthless side of Carly, because at this point it was just more like, all right, I'm sad because like the things in the blip were better. I'm just like, all right, but show us how it was better, because we don't. Yeah. You just seem like just an angry person at this point, and like I just show us like a flashback or something that shows us that maybe they're right, maybe life during the blip was better, but we just don't have that perspective yet. So I'm not so like they are a little bit boring-ish, but that blowing up of the that building, I was like, all right, maybe you're a little less boring than I thought.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's take another question.
Red Skull's name was name dropped in this episode, so my question is, do you think we could possibly see Red Skull in the show?
I think we might get more of an explanation of Red Skull's history. I think that would be cool. I don't think they're bringing in, definitely not bringing in Hugo Weaving. I think he's done with the character. Ross Marquand, I don't think he's going to show up as Red Skull. It's just not that kind of show. Like, it's a show about super soldiers. It's a show about like criminal underworlds. It's grounded, and Red Skull was just kind of a goofy thing that worked in the first Cap film because it was like part of that past, and it had that kind of steampunky kind of feel to it. And now Red Skull was perfect to bring back in Infinity War and Endgame, but that was his big cameo. I just don't see Marvel being like, and we're going to bring it back again. Like, it just feels like a copy of a copy. It feels derivative, and it's like there are so many other characters you can bring back in cool ways. Red Skull to come back and walk onto screen, I think most people watching this show would be like, this.
I mean, okay, so I don't think that Red Skull is going to be in this show exactly, but I do believe that Red Skull will return to the MCU at some point. Like, I've always believed that. Yeah, but like
I just don't think in this show.
Yeah, definitely not in this show. I feel like they want to just make this a more just like a more grounded and less like because I feel like Red Skull is specifically a Captain America villain, and I think that this show is setting up Sam to become Captain America. So when we do have an actual Captain America established that obviously everyone's behind, and like Sam Wilson, then I think that's when we have Red Skull be reintroduced and fight this new Captain America. But I just think that it's just too soon, and we just don't have the framework. Like the framework for Red Skull's return hasn't been laid out, and like it just be sort of out of left field. And if they do that, like you said, I would just be like, all right, this is just to make shock and like to I don't know. It would be sort of lazy writing at that point.
Right.
But
I think so.
And like just to be 100% clear, me and Erik we're not bashing Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's a really interesting program. It's just like there are just certain elements that are just like, all right, this is kind of like we have some questions. But we are having a good time with the show.
And the reason I'm doing this is like I don't want us to. I don't think this happened with the Mephisto train people, but the people who really got excited for Quicksilver, for the aerospace engineer, and some of the Mephisto people really let their expectations get ahead of them with WandaVision and stopped seeing the great show that was in front of them and only started to see the promise of the show that they wanted it to be. And I think the Falcon and Winter Soldier has so much going for it. It's got some great action. It's asking some interesting questions. It's exploring different parts of this world that I'm really, really enjoying that. And I think we should just be grateful for the show that we have. And when we start going too far down the theory rabbit hole, we're going to start in our head canons making it out to be something that it's not, and then we're going to be disappointed when it doesn't live up to those expectations. Exactly. So we're trying to encourage you all, manage your expectations with this show. It's okay to theorize, totally okay to theorize, but I don't want anyone going around out there saying, if Red Skull doesn't show up in the show, I'm going to unsubscribe from Disney Plus.
That would be a little bit drastic. Please don't do that, and you would be missing out some great content. So
let's take another cue.
I did notice the beginning of a rift forming between John Walker and Lemar Hoskins.
Yeah.
Lamar's trying to keep him in check, and John Walker looks like he's going off the deep end.
Definitely true there.
Yeah.
And I think that moment was to make us look at Lemar Hoskins in a different light, to be like, okay, I'm still on board with this guy. This guy doesn't have the same ideology, the same temperament as John Walker does. So I think that gives us more of a future for Lemar Hoskins, less of a future for John Walker.
Yeah, and like I do like that Hoskins is there to sort of show us that Walker is sort of losing his temper and losing his cool, and he's sort of just it's good that he's there because he is tied to Walker's past, and so he's known Walker for a long time. So like if anyone's going to notice anything wrong with John Walker, it's going to be Lemar Hoskins. Yeah. So but yeah, that he is sort of like I mentioned before in the previous segment, Walker is. I feel like he's sort of he's not feeling respected, and B I feel like he just feels not empowered enough, like not strong enough to fill the role of Captain America. And so I think eventually, if he's not powered already, he will seek out the empowerment by the Power Broker, because for him to really feel like a true Steve Rogers replacement, he wants to have that strength. So I think that's where they might be going with that rift that we're starting to see between Lemar and John, but it could go anywhere really.
Yeah, totally agreed. So I think we have time for one more question here.
Since Zemo explained that Sokovia is off the map, could he be saying that it was renamed into a different country, like Latveria in the MCU? Yeah. I would love to hear your thoughts. Keep up the great work.
Oh, thank you. I think you might be onto something with this Latveria thing, because we know Sokovia is located in Eastern Europe, and he said other neighboring countries kind of divided up the landmass, and I think it might not be revealed as Latveria now, but man, it is a perfect setup to talk about the existence of Latveria in the MCU, which is also in that region. Man, I would love that.
That would be a sick setup, and it would be great to see a Doctor Doom-esque tease or something. Oh man, like that is a really great point. I didn't even consider that after the episode, so I'm glad you brought that up, friend. Yeah. He's a smart man. Smart man. Only smart people listen to our shows. Only smart people.
Only smart. All right, so we are going to cap it there. We want to thank everyone for listening, for sending in your questions. I got a breakdown I got to work on. It's going to be addressing a lot of this stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, the breakdown's already there. Go watch it. Make sure to watch that. And follow MT at Mastertainment. Follow me at EA Voss. Subscribe to New Rockstars here on YouTube, and follow us everywhere else. Make sure to get your hands on our new latest Obsession Anarchy Assembled shirt at newrockstarsmerch.com. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.